All right, guys, so today I have a little bit more of a different type of video, and I wanted to go over what I would do if I had to start from scratch as an insurance agent, how I would go about starting to get my first few clients, and how I would actually scale my practice. These are strategies that I've used before, not only in my own business, but for the agents that I've worked with as well. And yeah, I'm going to go through step by step in my specific situation, how I would do this, and hopefully you guys can draw some kind of perspective and insights from it as well. Okay, so the first thing to keep in mind here is I'm talking about my very specific situation. I'm talking what I would do in my city, in my town, with the different kind of dynamics I have with the market here, what I think the market needs. Things are going to be a little bit different for you in your town, so I don't recommend using this as like a copy and paste, take exactly what I'm saying and run with it. There's a reason behind everything that I'm choosing here. I thought this all out very carefully before I planned to make this video, and I'm going to reveal all that here. So first off, let's start off with what type of coverage I would choose to do, and that would be for me auto insurance. Now, the reason for that, there's actually quite a few reasons that I would choose auto insurance. One of them being the roads here are extremely treacherous due to weather. So I live in a city in Canada where it gets very, very, very cold during the winter. There's a lot of snow, and it also is very, very. It makes the road infrastructure very, very weak here because of all the water that's constantly melting, not only above the road and the pavement, but also underneath it, which causes it to crack. The potholes here during like the spring are just absolutely horrendous. So it's very treacherous to drive here. I'd say more than almost any other city in North America, just simply due to the weather. So there's a lot of accidents that happen just to that. Also, there is a little bit of high crime here, so break-ins are more likely. Thankfully, I live in an area where it's safer in the city, but especially if you do live in some areas here, it can be like break-ins can be pretty common. I have some friends as well as some family members who've had their cars broken in more than once, and it does tend to happen. So that's a good thing as well. I guess for not a good thing, but good thing to keep in mind for an insurance policy is, hey, you can add break-ins, and that's something that people here would be a lot more likely to take up as an option as opposed to other cities, right? Also, quite frankly, I would say that the driving is very, very erratic here as well. I've been to quite a few cities all over Canada, as well as the States as well. I've been to a couple, and I can confidently say that the driving here is absolutely like the worst I've seen insofar as just the driving behavior. I think part of that is also due to the weather itself. It makes driving a little bit more stressful, especially because the roads aren't very good. The city infrastructure as well maybe isn't the best. The way that they do things, they're always doing construction at like the wrong times of the year and in the wrong places and yada yada yada. So due to just the nature of driving here, I find people just drive very erratic anyway, and more so than other cities. So I would say that these three reasons for me personally is why I would choose auto insurance coverage. I think for my area, this is something that a lot of people definitely would be very interested in taking up, and something that a lot of people here need, quite frankly, and maybe don't even think about it or know about it. And that would be my mission, would be providing people with that the best coverage that I could give them for their vehicles to keep their vehicles safe, because like I said, because of the way that the city's laid out, it doesn't have the best busing infrastructure. So having a vehicle is almost critical here for quite a few people. And I've had moments in the city where I've been without a vehicle, and it's been pretty tough. So you really want a vehicle living here. It's very important, like I said, critical to a lot of people who are just going about their daily lives, working their jobs, and if they don't have proper auto insurance coverage, it could be pretty rough for them. So yeah, I think definitely having coverages for your vehicle here is a very good idea, and that's something that I would be personally trying to provide for people. So how would I go about getting my first 1 to 3 writings. And why would I be doing this strategy? I'm going to kind of break into this, right? So again, like I said, this is specific to me, my situation in the area that I'm living. Like I said, it's up in Canada. It's very, very cold here in the winter. So door knocking isn't really sustainable half of the year. It ends up being below freezing, very, very, very cold up here. So door knocking, you don't want to be doing that at like, minus 25, minus 30 degrees Celsius. Like that's extremely incredibly cold. I think that's like minus 13, 14 Fahrenheit or something like that. It's very, very cold. So for me, I would prefer to spend my time in the cold calling. That's what I would do. I think that I have that skill. So again, specific to me, I've done cold calling before. I'm kind of a little bit more familiar with it. Although I do have to say, maybe door knocking during the summer months, the spring months, because there's not a whole lot of people that door knock, that might be a strategy that would pay dividends to do that during the summer and then cold call during the winter. Because, like I said, since many people can't do any door knocking in the colder parts of the year, it's not really practical. There is less door knocking in general, so you might get better responses than in a city where it's constantly warm, and that is a thing that people can do a lot more of. So personally, I think I would just stick with cold calling because I feel like that's a skill that I have more than door knocking. I would prefer to do that, and I think I can just get more volume that way and get more appointments set up. So for me personally, in my situation, that's what I would do. Also, I would be looking to set up appointments and use those first 1 to 3 appointments to nail my sales pitch, right? So what I'm wanting to do is I call people on the phone, say, hey, kind of run through my script, whatever, try to get them on an appointment to get them insured. And then once I'm able to get those writings, I want to use those first appointments and those first sales and writings that I do get to make sure that I'm really nailing down everything in my appointment and sales process. I want that to be as smooth as I can possibly get it, because after this, I'm going to be doing lead generation. I'll get into that in a bit, but I want to make sure that before I scale this, that I have the system in place so that my conversion rate when I actually start spending money is going to be very good, because I'm already confident in my sales process, right? Because if I don't have a very good sales or appointment setting process, I could spend $1 million a day. If I can't set any appointments, I don't know how to close anybody out, and I don't know how to get writings, it's not going to matter, and I'm not going to make any money. So that's why it's not after my very first writing, I'm going to go straight to using that money into lead gen. I want to make sure that the process is good, and I want to make sure that I know how to do cold calling if I ever need to go back to that. So for me, that's what I would do, and that's why I would do it. I would start with cold calling, get my first few clients that way, and then make sure the sales process is as smooth as possible, as well as posting on TikTok and Reels once a day. I would make the videos on TikTok, and then I would edit them, post them on TikTok, and then post them also on Instagram and Facebook Reels as well. This way I have content built out. And when I start doing my lead generation, because I know I'm about to do lead gen, when people come and see my profile, they're going to see that I've been posting content for a while. It's also going to help me a lot in finding what like marketing strategies are even working organically. And when I know that, I'll be able to have an even better understanding of what I can do from the ad side, because I'll know, hey, this approach or is working and this approach is not really working. So that's why for me, I think posting on TikTok and Reels once a day would also be a key part of my strategy. So to get from my first 1 to 3 writings to 10 writings a month, what would I do from there? Okay. So after I had 3 writings, I would invest everything I could back into a lead generation campaign. For me personally, I would look at the platform that's really doing best. I wouldn't want to spread my money too thin. So if I notice I'm getting all of my engagement on TikTok, I would do my lead gen on TikTok. But for me, generally, what I see the most engagement in is actually Facebook, not really Instagram as much. Instagram, I'd say, is actually the least. So I would say for myself personally, I would probably focus on Facebook advertisings. I'd want to start out with just one platform so that I can concentrate my spend in just one place and not spread it too thin. So for me personally, I choose Facebook. If you're noticing TikTok is better for you, then do TikTok or Instagram or wherever you put. Maybe you're posting on LinkedIn and that's doing well as well. Great, you do what's best for you. For me personally, I do Facebook, and I know that would get me to 10 plus writings a month. So I would do as much as I possibly could to keep my budget small. So I do everything manually, right? All the emails I would send out manually, all the text messages I'd send manually from my phone. This way, I don't have to pay for extra email systems, extra text systems, things like that. And I can put all of that money into my lead gen and give that the best chance possible because I'm generating more leads and I'm just taking the time, right? So this is kind of at this point, it's a hybrid system of I'm investing a little bit of my time and a little bit of my money as well. Because I don't have the most amount of money, I'm going to be spending more time on this system. Whereas if I was spending a lot more money, I didn't have to invest as much time into prospecting. But this is what I would do to generate just as much leads as I possibly could out of my budget to start with. So spend it all on ads, and then everything else I try to do manually. That's not really sustainable. So after I find a winning ad where I'm starting to get like 3-4 writings a week, consistently coming in, I know this is working. I would start setting up automated email and text campaigns. I'd start jacking up the ad spend, knowing my conversion rate is now going to do well and carry the campaign into profitability. So going from doing everything manually on the back end to then having email systems, text systems, whatever it might be, set into place is how I would want to go about doing this. Because now, once I'm getting so many different leads and so many different writings going through the door, I want to be focused on actually doing the work for my clients. So I can't be doing that if I'm constantly prospecting. So to get to 10 plus writings a month, I know that I need to actually be doing the writings every month. And to have the time to do that, I'm going to have to take a little bit less time out of the prospecting on my lead gen system. So to take that time out of prospecting, what I would do is I'd set up automated email and text campaigns, and those would convert my that would take care of the appointment setting for me. So now I wouldn't have to worry about texting people, emailing them, trying to set them up on appointments. My email and text system would actually do that for me. I could just worry about getting on the calls and getting people written up. So that is a strategy I would use personally to go from nothing, scratch, to 10 plus writings a month. I'd start with auto insurance coverage just so that, I think this area really, auto insurance covers this area very, very well. I think that's the thing that people need most more than anything. People need their car in the city. People need to realize that the roads that they're on are very treacherous and that accidents are very, very prone in this city. And if you don't have a car and you don't have any insurance for it, it's going to be very tough. So I'd start out with cold calling people, informing them about this, trying to set them up on appointments, get a few appointments in, start nailing down my sales process, as well as making sure that I'm posting on TikTok and Reels once a day. Then I'd start putting all that money that I got from the first 3 writings into a lead generation campaign, keeping my budget small, trying to make sure that I'm doing everything manually, still posting on TikTok, still posting on my Reels, making sure people are getting that daily dose of my content, seeing my face out there. And then after I find a winning ad, I'd scale everything up, start spending more on the ads, spend some money on an email and text conversion campaign. Those aren't too expensive to begin with, but they do cost a little bit more money. And then I could consistently be doing 10 plus writings a month, maybe even 15, closer to 20. Who knows, right? So that's what I would do personally in my situation. I think you guys can kind of take this template and again, maybe not copy and paste and use it exactly, but kind of take a look at your situation. What do you think is the best thing to kind of offer in your area? What do you think is the best cold outreach strategy to try first so that you can get your first 3 writings? And then how would you take that money? What platforms would you invest it into lead gen? Your situation may look very, very different from mine, but you can still take kind of the same breakdown and apply it to your situation. So I do hope that was able to give you guys some perspective and maybe a little bit of a paradigm shift for those of you who aren't doing lead gen yet and aren't writing 10 plus writings a month. The way that we get our agents to do that is with our exclusive lead system. It's a completely done for you system. We come in and set everything. It's also fragile proof because we make sure that we're generating leads, not just on Facebook, but also Instagram and TikTok as well. That way, if one campaign goes down, you have a couple other campaigns propping it up. So you're always getting leads. Not only that, we want to make sure that these leads are converting, which is why we actually provide email and text campaigns that go out to every single one of these leads on an automated basis. So you don't have to worry about lifting a finger. And where most agencies are going to charge you some ridiculous monthly retainer to keep a system like this up, we're just going to hand the entire thing off to you as soon as we're done with it. You don't have to worry about any monthly retainers. We can teach you how to manage it yourself. Or if you'd like, we could pair you with a trained and qualified virtual assistant who will manage the whole thing for you. If you're interested in this, or if you like this video, definitely would recommend checking out some of the other videos on our channel. And if you're interested in hearing more about the exclusive lead system, shoot me a DM or comment on underneath this video. And yeah, be excited to talk to you guys more about that. Anyways, hope that this video was helpful, and take care.